Hello and welcome to my channel Inspiring Life Changes. My name's Colette and I'm here today to do the Cancer New Moon part 2 of the 2 videos that I do for the new and the full moons. This is the astrology part of it. I have already done the tarot part of it and that is already up and out there. So if you're interested in the tarot side of things, then that video is there for you already. Thank you very much for coming over and pressing play and seeing what it's all about. Welcome to those of you who have recently joined my channel. I really do appreciate you being here, and a big welcome back to those of you who have been here before and know how this all works. The tarot part is the first part I put out, and then I usually put out the astrology after that. So this, like I said, is the astrology part. If you're interested in finding out more about your own personal chart as well, which I always recommend you do, then there is going to be a free natal link in the description box down below for you to go and check that out as well. And I also just want to say a really big thank you to my friend Jerry for bringing on new subscribers to my channel, because I really do believe that my channel is being shadow banned and my information and the messages that I am being given and the astrology in particular that I'm sharing is not getting out there as it should be. So if you could like this video, please thumbs it up for me, subscribe to my channel, share my videos. It would all really go a long way to helping me grow this channel, which I'm really hoping to do, and this is my big plan at this time. So this is a new moon in Cancer that we're dealing with. It's happened today at or on the 29th of June at 3:51 a.m. so it was early hours of the morning that it took place. I will be talking more about that as well, but we're going to start the reading as I always do with the cards that relate to this particular time. We have the new moon energy. New moon's always about new beginnings, new ideas, new initiatives, taking new plans, making something new, fresh happen in your life. And this is why it's a good idea to know where your new moon energy is, in which house it's going to be, which is why if you look up your own natal chart, you'll be able to find that out for yourselves as well, as long as you know your dates and time of birth. And also the place of birth, but the time of birth is particularly important. And then we have the Cancer energy, and here it is saying that our loved ones are safe, which is quite important. The Cancer energy is all about the mother. It's about security, nurturing, protection in particular. And we have cardinal energy, a cardinal moon, which is saying be bold and make the first move. And there's going to be a lot of first moves being made, I feel, at this time. I feel that it's big cardinal energy that we're dealing with, and I will go more into that as well. But if you look behind me, I have these set of cards here, and we have Cancer, the first card, which is all about the feelings and the emotions. Then we have the moon, which is the soul. It's the collective emotional energy. We have, which is the ruler of Cancer. We have the 4th house, which is the emotional roots, our beginnings, our family. And then we have the water element, which is the Cancerian energy is ruled by water. And lastly, the last card that I have down here is the Grand Cross energy, the provoker energy. And we've got a Grand Cross energy because we actually do have a cardinal Grand Cross at this time, which is quite a rare occurrence. It's not something that happens all the time. But in saying that, this Grand Cross has been going on for a while behind the scenes, but now this new moon is really highlighting all of this energy as well, and adding an extra level to it. And so the card that we've got from the Animal Oracle today is the Skunk Spirit, and it's saying, know your worth. Interesting. Know your worth. So number 54. What is the Skunk Spirit trying to tell us? Okay, the Skunk Spirit is saying, what do you value? What do you believe in? Is your best, most authentic self on display? Skunk Spirit comes as a reminder that you can be proud of who you are and what you have accomplished. Know your worth. Not everyone will agree with you or share your values, but you can walk with your head high, knowing that when you express your integrity, others can feel your authenticity and will be inspired by it. Be who you are, and if your reputation precedes you, good. You have much to be proud of, and Skunk Spirit wants you to be your best self, the true you. Interesting energy. I'm just going to put that up here. Skunk Spirit, of course, is also able to repel as well with the smell that comes from it. It can repel things that it doesn't want anywhere near it. So that's another interesting part of the skunk energy. So I'm going to get into the actual reading here, which I have called today New Moon in Cancer, Radical Emotional Transformation. And we have the divine masculine sun energy conjunct the divine feminine moon energy during the time of a new moon. So it's when the two of them come together and they're both in the same sign. So this new moon is taking place in the cardinal waters of the highly emotional, sensitive, caring, considerate, feeling sign of moon-ruled Cancer. It is happening here in the UK at 3:51 AM. It will be different for other parts of the world, so check out your own geographical region. Here in the UK, it will be occurring on the 29th of June, and it's happening at 7 degrees 22 minutes of the Crab. If you have any planets or points at the 02 to 12 degrees of Cancer, it is likely it will be bringing a lot of reflection, memories, and a time to remember past childhood situations. Any of the other cardinal signs will also be under this influence, which includes opposing Capricorn at a 180-degree angle, or either of the 90-degree squares of Libra and Aries. Aries in particular, as there is still so much activity there at the time of this new moon. So check out where these 02 to 12 degrees fall in any of your charts, as this will be in relation to the house placement, where this energy is going to manifest on an individual and personal level. So that's what I was talking about. If you check out your chart and see which house it falls in. Also, if you're going to set a new intention for this moon, depending on which house it falls in for you, will also be where it will manifest best if you use that energy that the moon is actually in at this time. So for the collective, this new moon is taking place on in the fourth house, known as the universal womb, which also covers all things to do with themes of motherhood. The need to protect, keep safe and secure. Cancer is our strong instinctual feelings and includes those emotions we experience during the 9 months we are growing inside our own mother. Moon-ruled Cancer also covers sensitivity, vulnerability, intuition, the family, memories, sentimentality, unconditional love, and our emotional roots. So one of the big things about this new moon is she's in her own sign, where she's most emotionally open. Another is she's conjunct Black Moon Lilith, who I speak about regularly as being the apogee of the moon herself. So once more, the apogee is the point in the sky when the moon is furthest away from our Earth. It is on the dark side of the moon, the side we never get to see, hence the mystery and intrigue that surrounds this point. And at this time, she, so Black Moon Lilith is conjunct the new moon energy. The name Lilith literally translates as night hag. So it relates to the really deep subconscious state of our hidden fears and nightmares, back even to our collective primal beginnings. She is the shadow side of our nature that we would rather not acknowledge. Instead, we learn to repress and deny her. We cover her over with drink, drugs, both recreational and prescription, as well as sexual lust and a whole lot of lying to ourselves and others. These are all very Black Moon Lilith traits, and what we deny internally will eventually cause havoc externally, as Black Moon Lilith demands to be recognised. The mythology of Lilith is one of non-compromising behaviour, which takes place mostly around sex, which is one of the main themes to do with Black Moon Lilith herself. And especially like sexual gratification, it's got very little to do with the actual procreation energy. It is much more about the actual gratification of the act of sex itself. So it can usually end up being quite deviant sexually as well. So it is said Lilith was the first wife of Adam, who was created as an equal and not from his rib, as Eve was later. It was because of this that Lilith refused to always lie beneath Adam, wanting their relation to be equal in all things. Lilith believed for this reason she also had the right for Adam to lie beneath her. This, however, did not sit well with Adam, who complained to God about Lilith's lack of obedience to him when it came to sex, as Adam believed he had the right to dominate over her. So Lilith was given an ultimatum: to be a good girl, lie back and surrender, or leave the Garden of Eden. Lilith chose the latter, and henceforth from that act of defiance she became all things ungodly, unholy and evil in the female domain. So another part of this story talks about how all her babies, of which she gave birth to thousands a night, would all become hideous monsters, and they would all die by the morning. And so she would mourn these children as well. She would fly into fits of rage when they would die. And so these children, it was believed, came from the sperm of the young men which she stole from them in their dreams while they were sleeping as the evil night hag, which was a very superstitious way of explaining the wet dreams of young men, no doubt, but it also included the devil and his succubus consort Lilith. So in astrology, Black Moon Lilith equates to the dark goddess, who is linked with all the taboos such as sex, death and obsession, as well as addiction to the aforementioned. She is the female version of Pluto, and it's also very similar to Kali, the creator and destroyer, as they all three deal with transformation, resurrection, as well as the occulted or hidden black magic. Black Moon Lilith is also said to be the birth canal between the non-physical dimension into the physical dimension, bringing the soul body of the baby into the womb of the mother. And interestingly, Black Moon Lilith also takes 9 months to move through each zodiac sign as well. And that equates to about, I think it equates to about 9 years in fact. So that's another interesting fact about Black Moon Lilith. So Lilith is also wrapped up in the ideas of sex as a powerful political tool, with incest, paedophilia and satanic ritual abuse being the worst, lowest vibrational form of sex inflicted on any human soul. Lilith therefore also represents the forbidden fruit in all its forms, used against nature to defile and violate all that is natural by stepping over that line of what is acceptable. Which is another reason this all happens in secret, like trauma-based mind control that is created through the use of sexual torture to split the mind into many different personalities through the use of pain and abuse. All of this is Black Moon Lilith's domain. So the reason I am explaining all of this in such detail is because the Sun and Moon at 7 degrees 22 are in a very close conjunction, with only 1 degree between them and Black Moon Lilith at 8 degrees 22. What's making this even more powerful are the square energies that are being created by both Jupiter at 7 degrees 18 minutes and Salacia 8 degrees 38 minutes, who is still conjunct Jupiter, and they are both in Aries, so both in that cardinal energy as well. Jupiter, this combination of energies is going to be bringing a lot of what has been kept hidden in the depths and in the dark up to the surface and out into the light for all to see. Jupiter is magnifying all of this new moon in Cancer energy and everything to do with the 4th house, as well as the Black Moon Lilith themes, where Cancer has sympathy and empathy, Black Moon Lilith seeks only personal gratification, which will all be emphasized by the moon being in her own sign and house during the time of this new moon and its energetic imprint. So already in the US we've seen the overturning of the Roe v. Wade case, and there has been huge amounts of emotion, and it's happened just after the Sun has entered Cancer and started to connect with this Black Moon Lilith energy. And there's going to be so much more of this emotional, uncontrolled, overwhelming kind of tidal waves of primal rage and fury, like temper tantrum from children, really, not getting their own way. That's very much this Cancer Black Moon Lilith energy. So in the opposite sign of Capricorn, which is the mother, father, feminine, masculine axis, we find the center Pholos, once again being activated during this new moon. As he's now at 5 degrees 49 minutes retrograde, he is opposing both the new moon, the Sun, as well as Black Moon Lilith. So he's making a direct opposition to this new moon at this time. So Pholos in astrology is the energy of rapid spreading, it's or contagion, and it was during his discovery and naming that the word apoptosis began appearing in all medical journals. The word itself literally spreading like wildfire, which is interesting as its meaning is the fast self-destruction and death of the cells, which again can be linked into abortion. Pholos himself was killed due to his curiosity by jabbing himself with the tip of an arrow dipped in the venomous blood of the Medusa, the dehumanized monster created by Athene, the goddess of logic, intellect, and cerebral but not emotional wisdom. Athene was also indirectly responsible for the death of Pholos, as it was she who helped the hero, Perseus, to defeat the fearsome snake-like creature. And this therefore allowed the warrior Heracles, or Hercules as he's better known, to dip the arrows into the Medusa's lethal blood that set the scene for the death of the wise centaur Pholos, as well as the suffering and agony of the immortal centaur Chiron. Chiron is also in Aries at this time and has been for quite a few years and will continue to be for a while. At this time we find Athene is at 27 degrees 10 minutes of Taurus, where she is making a strong trine with Pluto, also at 27 degrees in Capricorn, along with a conjunction with Sedna. So Athene and Sedna are conjunct at this time. And I will talk more about Sedna later as well when she comes up again. So Capricorn itself is all about those at the top of the pyramid, the rulers, corporations, bosses, CEOs of companies and dynastic political families. Having Pholos here at this time is implying that all those involved in the dark, shady, nefarious dealings of toxic and poisonous biolabs and chemical warfare, which is very much Pholos's thing, that's what he's all about, toxins, poisons, as well as creating induced illnesses such as AIDS and Ebola. So things that have been created, man-made, created, they're not really natural as such. They've been messed about with. That's kind of the Pholos energy. So as well as those who have turned the killing of babies into big business as well. And I believe personally that all of this energy is going to come out into the spotlight, and people's names are going to come out into the spotlight in the weeks and months ahead. We're going to find out a lot more about all of this. So centaurs on the whole were known as being chaotic, untrustworthy and troublemakers. So there could be a lot more trouble ahead, because this is a long ongoing energy that we're dealing with here. So if we look towards the world stage, the 0 degree 00 point of Aries, which is known as the axis mundi, which is activated when anything crosses over or connects with any of the 0 degree 00 points of all the cardinal signs, which are Aries, Cancer, Libra and Capricorn, we find that the Aries point, the most important point on the zodiac wheel, is still being connected via a semi-square on both sides, with the axis mundi of Aries and Cancer being influenced by Uranus. So Cancer has that 00 axis mundi point as well, and so does Aries. As I was saying, it's that square, so it's that cross energy of all the cardinal signs, and when anything hits those points, then something gets activated and we see it play out on the world stage. And we have Uranus in a semi-square, which basically is connecting with both the Cancer and the Aries energy at this time. So it's kind of forming a square in itself, but Uranus, is in the middle of both of these energies. And so this indicates that shocking, unexpected events are going to be causing chaos, havoc and mass awakenings, especially as Uranus at 17 degrees 39 edges ever closer to the North Node, which is now at 20 degrees and 2 minutes. And that's going to be happening pretty soon as well. We will be seeing a direct, exact conjunction between Uranus and the North Node, and things are really going to speed up and kind of move ahead in huge bounds and leaps and kind of quantum shocks to the system. And so all of this shocking, electrifying, life-changing energy is very likely to appear even greater and all-consuming, and it will have a long-term effect on everyone somehow, some way on this planet, far into the future generations to come. Not only individually, but also collectively, as Jupiter continues to be in conjunction with the world stage, adding his own desire for freedom and the right for self-determination and self-empowerment. We will see all this playing out on the world stage over the next 6 months as more people awaken to the truth and begin to view life through a very much more expansive, magnified Jupiter lens. Especially as he will be starting to slow down in a couple of weeks in preparation for his stationing retrograde at the end of July. So Jupiter's energy, which is already magnified, is going to become even more magnified, and whatever Jupiter is connecting to at that time, it's really going to bring it out into the open, really going to express it in a big, big way. And then of course he will return back over that 0 point of the axis mundi into the Piscean energy for a while. So that expansive and magnifying lens of Jupiter is also being directed via another square at Pholos, which is creating a T-square between Cancer and Capricorn that has Mars ruled Aries with Jupiter and Salacia at his focal point of attention. So the opposing energy of all the new moon and black moon Lilith and Pholos in Capricorn, which is directly opposing each other, is also got this T-square energy going on with Jupiter and Salacia as well. So again, kind of really highlighting things at this time around the idea of freedom and self-will and self-determination, sovereignty, breaking free, being ourselves, integrity, as the skunk energy was talking about as well. So far we have, oh sorry, I just missed a bit out. So, okay, life is about to get very hot, full of drama and passionate determination, giving us the willpower to break free from our worn-out belief systems and focus instead on new and exciting changes ahead, while also helping us to see things that may seem disastrous and upsetting as being beneficial, healing and productive for us long term. So far we have 3 of the 4 cardinal signs being activated during the time of this new moon. However, if we look at opposing Libra from Aries, we will find the dwarf planet Makemake. Now Makemake is the Easter Island creator, fertility god of universal law and order. So his energy it goes beyond man-made law and order. It is the universal cosmic idea of what is law and what is order. And he's at 6 degrees 50 minutes and in the sign of balance, harmony, justice, equality and fairness. And he's opposing both Salacia and Jupiter, while also being square to the new moon, the sun and black moon Lilith. So therefore creating yet another T-square. Only this time the focus of attention is set squarely on that Cancerian energy. And so at the same time that Makemake, who is moving forward once more after his long retrograde period, just happens also to be square with Pholos, which is in all creating that incredibly intense cardinal grand cross. So cardinal energy is very dynamic and initiating energy. The cardinal signs are all found at the beginning of the seasons, so it represents change. And a grand cross is like an energetic imprint or a stamp, like stamping the energy into something. And it involves 2 oppositions and 4 squares. But it also in itself makes 2 T-squares energy as well, possibly even 4 T-squares if you think about it. So anyway, there's a lot of concentrated energy in this grand cardinal cross. A lot of very high volatile energy is caught up in all of this. So squares are challenging, tension-filled energies, and oppositions are forcing us to grow and move beyond any limitations that the square energy puts us in. So it also kind of calls for new ways of viewing things, or new ways of like freeing ourselves from that constricting square type energy. And so a grand cross often indicates a crisis or a time in our life when we are literally at a crossroads or at cross purposes. It is a difficult energy which necessitates growth and renewal, which, if we don't answer the calling, can become repetitive and stagnant situations, kind of blocking us, holding us down and pinning us in. And so it also can lead to self-sabotage and self-destruction. Alternatively, if we push through these barriers and restrictions, it will lead us forwards to build better foundations for greater success and happiness in the long term. So this is an energy we need to work with rather than against. Although our overall response may be feeling like we are on a battlefield, battling with 7 overwhelming, very different frequencies, all at odds with each other, there is a need here to balance things out, Libra. Not to become overwhelmed emotionally, Cancer. Not to get stuck in the harsh reality, Capricorn. And above all else, to remember our self-worth, which I do believe is actually the card, yes, the skunk spirit. Know your worth. There you go, that Aries energy. Very magnified at this time by the Jupiter energy and the Salacia energy as well. So this cardinal cross is highlighting for the collective the 1st, 4th, 7th and 10th houses, activating all the themes relating to these. So check out for yourselves on an individual level which houses this grand cardinal cross is going to be activating in your own natal chart. So the moon, which represents the collective psyche, will be moving on from her part in all of this a few hours after the new moon has taken place, when she will begin to connect with Neptune in a harmonious, flowing, easy exchange of energies. A lovely trine with the Piscean 12th house. The sun, however, is going to continue activating this grand cross through until the 11th of July, having been joined by Mercury, the planet of communication, messages and media, who will begin to conjunct Black Moon Lilith from the 6th to the 13th of July. So we can expect after around about the, well, even from this new moon, we can expect to start hearing things that aren't too pleasant, that we might not want to. I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there at the moment about the Ghislaine Maxwell case, that's just where she's just been sentenced as well. There's all these abortion issues, there's things coming out about fetal cells being found, babies being used in the country that it's best not to mention, that everybody wants to kind of protect at this time, and evil Russia is destroying it, when really it's kind of hiding a lot of nasty stuff. That it's the country that you know that what I'm talking about here. And so we're going to start hearing a lot of this information coming out about things to do with all that Black Moon Lilith energy. So don't be surprised if you start hearing a lot of dark kind of, because Mercury is communication, Mercury is, and it's all happening on the world stage. So it's all going to start appearing very strongly. It's already, a lot of people who are awake already have known about this stuff for a long time, but a lot of people don't know about it. And even people who have known about it for a long time, I still don't think know the full extent of how depraved this could all be. So we also have Mars, who recently entered Taurus, is also going to be from the 11th starting to sextile Black Moon Lilith as well. Oh, he's not in Taurus at the moment, so he will have recently entered Taurus after, by the 13th of July. Well, yeah, before then. From the 11th, he's going to start sextiling Black Moon Lilith, which is going to add another level of emphasis, basically, to this already focused on energy, along with all the themes I mentioned earlier now being blatantly paraded in front of us as they are brought out of the darkness they have grown in, hidden away, which is how these things grow. They grow in the darkness, they grow in the shadows, hidden away, and able to become larger than life. But this is going to bring the whole taboo realm of what is and isn't acceptable, that nobody really wants to acknowledge, right out into the light for discussion. And things are going to unfold very quickly and will continue to do so because of Mars sextile Black Moon Lilith as well. Mars being that activating energy, that energy that kicks things up a notch. And Mars is also out of bounds still, I believe, so he's a bit wild and a bit of a rebel at this time because he's gone beyond his normal plane of his own cycle. So when a planet does that, any planet that does that can become very like lawless in a way. It's like doing its own thing. It's really rebellious, and Mars is in that rebellious energy at this time, and he's going to continue to being so right up until October. So Mars is really kind of kicking up his heels and just letting loose. And he is, of course, the warrior energy. He is the god of war originally. He is the force, the power. Yeah, the kind of general, the war general, if you like, who always wants to be in competition with things as well. It's another thing about Mars. Very headstrong energy. And then on the 21st of July, we also have Venus joining the party, as she also is going to be entering Cancer a few days before and starts to conjunct with Black Moon Lilith just prior to becoming sextile with Mars. So she will also be sextile to Mars just after she has conjuncted with Black Moon Lilith. So it's going to be adding that extra dimension there as well. And this cardinal grand cross is going to continue beyond that in the background as it involves slow moving energies. So even when the sun's moved on, even when the moon has passed over, all of those four energies, even when Jupiter leaves as well, to some extent, it could still be there in the background, because we're dealing with these five-dimensional, really slow-moving energies which kind of put a process in place. They're so slow-moving that it kind of happens in increments in a way. It's kind of like their energy comes in very, very slowly and kind of builds up over time until we become more aware of what's happening. And of course, because they're so far out, they are 5D energies that we're dealing with. They're not the same kind of like Mars and Pluto and those kind of more obvious energies. So although not directly influencing any of the Grand Cross energies, on the day before the new moon in Cancer takes place, we have Neptune at 25 degrees 26 minutes, station in retrograde in Pisces. So Neptune has also been slowing down for the past couple of weeks, during which time his energy has been amplified. And now as he stations, he will be sextile to Pluto, which he has been for a wee while now. But Pluto's at 27 degrees 50 minutes on one side of Neptune, and on the other side is the fixed decapitated Medusa's head star Algol, at 25 degrees 10 as well, so they're quite close. Neptune is like literally minutes away from being exact with this star Algol, which is really about it's really about those in high places losing those high places. I mean, it is about decapitation, but it doesn't necessarily literally mean it's about losing your head. It means that you can lose your position of power very quickly as well. Although it can also be to do with like this kind of losing your emotional stability, seeming to be a bit crazy, going a bit mad. Algol is said to be the most maleficent planet, star, fixed star, out of all of our stars in the known universe, because it is the Medusa's head. And so it's connecting with Neptune, and Neptune is the planet of the unknown, the deeper subconscious, the mysterious, our connection with all that is. It is source, it is God, universal energy, faith, spirituality. It's also revelations, resurrection, and it's opening a door to the deeper, darker side of our collective nature as it connects with this star Algol. Alcohol also connects, it's also known as demon. It's also connected to alcohol as well, which is interesting because a lot of people can become kind of demonic in a way, almost like taken over by something rather than just being who they are. So I've seen that in a lot of people when they've taken, like, drunk far too much, far too long. It kind of like, I mean, alcohol can totally destroy people's lives. So it's interesting that the word alcohol comes from the word algol and also has a connection to the word demon. And so Neptune is also the realm of illusion, delusion, fakery, disguises, deceptions, distortion, drink, drugs, dependency, hypnosis, hallucination, and nothing appearing as it seems, where we can lose touch with reality and our own humanity. So Medusa, the once beautiful woman who became the hideous, inhumane beast, is a symbolic representation of that darker shadow side of our psyche that we are being faced with. It is that dark side of our emotions that can engulf and consume us. However, it is also only if we allow ourselves to be dragged down into the Plutonian, Neptunian underworld that we can face the monster waiting within and metaphorically slay it by forgiving ourselves. So helping us with this process is the incredibly slow-moving celestial body known as Sedna, who I mentioned earlier. And she is in the last degree of Taurus at 29 degrees 31, and she's also trine with Pluto and sextile this now stationed, amplified Neptune, as well as being conjunct Athene, the goddess of wisdom and logic and justice. And so Sedna is the energy of diving down deeper beyond the initial fear of something, beyond even the emotional attachment, until we discover that place of inner peace, tranquility, and knowing. It is this gnosis which ignites the remembrance of our being connected to all things throughout this known solar system, universe, and other dimensions. And in so doing allows the internal transformation to take place, no matter what chaos and craziness may be happening all around. So it's kind of saying, and there is an expression actually which I really like that kind of goes along with this, which is to do with when in deep water, become a diver. So basically what it's saying is that when everything goes really crazy, really chaotic, and like nothing seems to be making sense to people, that's the time to kind of find your inner peace and your tranquility, and to kind of go within and to let go of all of it. Just let it all go and remember that it's all is as it should be, even though it may seem unlikely with all the madness and the craziness, but it is all breaking down for something new to be reborn. So Pluto, talking of being reborn, the planet of rebirth, transformation, birth and death, is also involved in another powerful transit at this time, as he's square to the very volatile and eruptive conjunction between Mars at 25 degrees 40 minutes and Eris at 24 degrees 58 or 25 degrees, and they're both in Aries, and they're both in semi-sextile with Algol on one side and a stationed Neptune on the other. And they're both, and talking of volatile and eruptive, we also have the volcanic Hawaiian fertility regenerative creation goddess Haumea at 27 degrees 55, and she's directly square with Pluto and also opposing both Mars and Eris. So Eris is the female warrioress who, very similar to Black Moon Lilith, has also been denied, oppressed and forbidden. She is the energy of the non-conformist, who seems to leave chaos and discord in her wake. And both Haumea and Eris have been in this long-standing on and off opposition since at least 2010. So we're talking 12 years, during which time scientists started to predict an uptick in the activity of volcanoes, including some of those which have been dormant for thousands of years. And I find that really interesting, because that was literally round about that time, around about 2010, when they started seeing volcanoes erupting that hadn't erupted for quite some time. And like I say, some of them had even been dormant for a long time, and starting to see not necessarily them erupting, but just activity happening that hadn't happened for a long, long time. So in 2019, Pluto first began to square Eris, which also was on and off throughout 2020 into 2021. However, in 2021, Eris and Pluto squared exact 3 times, during which time we experienced and lived through a lot of difficult challenges. Now we have Mars, the masculine planet of action, force, aggression, pushing through, moving forward, activating and setting alight this cardinal T-square with Pluto and Haumea. So not only have we got this cardinal cross going on, we've also got this cardinal T-square with Mars and Eris opposing opposing Haumea, and they're both square to Pluto. So this makes Pluto the kind of focal point here. So this is adding yet another level of speeding up the oncoming massive endings, beginnings and transformations that are taking place in our 3D reality. As Pluto, the focus point of this T-square, continues to dig down deep into the very roots and foundations of the corruption it has all long been built on. With Pluto now reaching 27 degrees, the same degree as the US natal chart, he will soon be direct conjunct again, passing over this same spot for the second time. So when he gets to 27 degrees 33, he's going to be in the exact spot as when Pluto was first, when the natal chart began in 1776, July the 4th. I'm not actually sure when that's going to happen. I know it's going to happen in July. I haven't actually looked into it, so I need to go and check that out and see what date that's going to be happening, because that would be quite interesting. I think it might be around about the 7th, but I'm not 100% certain on that one, so don't quote me. And so this is why the US is the world stage at this time, because we are seeing all of this play out, which is going to affect the rest of the collective over the next few years. So basically whatever is taking place in the United States, we are going to see it also on the world stage, and it's going to have a knock-on effect with just about everything around the world. So I haven't really mentioned anything about Saturn, who's actually at this time trying to Mercury, I believe, as well. So Mercury's in Gemini at about 18 degrees 51, so around about 19 degrees, and he is trine with Saturn at this time. Saturn's also retrograde, so we could also see, because Saturn 25 degrees 47 is in Aquarius, we could see more censorship, more trying to shut things down, internet problems, communication problems in general. Like I say, censoring words, in particular certain words that are quite kind of familiar words. I've said this before as well, words that have special meanings to us, that are we're emotionally attached to, that could also come about as well. And Saturn is also at 25 degrees 43. He's also sextile Algol as well, which is interesting. So we could see authority figures start to decline, or start to kind of like disappear off the world stage, shall we say. Yeah, there could be some stories. Also, don't be surprised with this energy, with the Black Moon Lilith and the Algol star being so very highlighted, and Pholus as well at this time. Don't be surprised if we hear some kind of really nasty stories of possible worst crimes, or things that could be inflicted on one human being from another human being. That's another possible scenario that we could hear happening at this time, especially as we also have the South Node in Pluto. We need to kind of come to terms with a lot of that energy as well, and let it go, like move beyond it. But we can only do that first of all by kind of recognizing it and no longer sweeping things under the carpet, no longer ignoring it, because this energy is demanding, like literally demanding to be seen and heard and recognized. So the 20, sorry, not the 20, I've got the 25 degrees, but the 07 degrees of Cancer, Sabian symbol at this time is two fairies or nature spirits dancing on a moonlit night. And this symbol implies enjoying the company of like-minded people and sharing moments of fun, fantasy and celebrations. Moments spent together are likely to be very enjoyable, but you would be wanting to escape reality, or you could be wanting to escape reality, especially the reality of what's possible in your situation. Your intuition and imagination are heightened with a strong sense of your emotional and spiritual centre. Whilst keeping things real, you'll want to let go of the rational and enjoy the experience of being with others, or at least one very special person. Allow your relationship to flow, but you may find things look different in the clear light of day. And so unusually unseen astral realms, reconnecting with the feminine, full moon celebrations, women celebrating, invoking fantasies, dreams, moonlight, unrealistic romances. And that's the positive. The negative side of this is being lost in emotional dreaming, not seeing the people clearly, or not seeing people clearly, lacking responsibility, depending on things that have no future or stability, escapist attitudes. And so that's where I'm going to finish the actual astrology reading. And I'm just going to pull very quickly a Divine Feminine card, because it is Cancerian Divine Feminine energy at this time. So let's see what the energy is that we are dealing with for this Cancer new moon. We have Vajrayogini, who is the essence of all Buddhas. I have the power to make each moment sacred. Everything is material for my liberation. Very nice. Vajrayogini. And she is, where are we, 117. I think I've read this one before. Not 100% certain. Okay, so there it is. And it says, Vajrayogini is the power we all possess to transform mundane experiences into higher spiritual paths. Vajrayogini is considered the supreme deity of the Tantric pantheon. She is both a Dakini, a Tantric priestess, and a female Buddha. According to scholar Miranda Shaw, no other male Buddha, including her, turn the page, including her divine consort, approaches her metaphysical or practical import. She is the essence of all the Buddhas, and to meditate on her brings immediate blessings to the practitioner. Her red body symbolises her inner fire, and the flames that surround her represent her exalted wisdom. Her third eye reflects her ability to see through the reality of all things in the past, present, and future. She carries the Dakini's curved knife, which cuts through all obstacles and illusions, and she holds a bowl of blood, which represents the bliss that awaits us when we release the ego's attachment to who we are. Again, that releasing, letting things go. Kind of interesting because it is fire energy as well. It's kind of very Aries energy in some ways, because Aries also rules the blood as well. So there's a lot of that hot-headed blood energy out there at the moment. So Vajrayogini is a central figure in Vajrayana Buddhism and in Tantric initiations. She is considered a meditation deity and comes to a practitioner during a visualization of her form. She helps liberate us from ordinary conceptions and ordinary appearances so that we can see through to the truth of what exists all around us. She is easier, so I can't read it with my glasses on, I have to look over the top. She is easier to reach during dark times in our lives, even if we feel far from spiritual. She still wants to liberate us, which is very interesting, because I feel that that's why I've called it kind of emotional transformation. You know, it's about, or evolution, it's about transforming through the emotional like darkness, if you like. So when your soul selects her card, no matter what has happened recently or in the past, Vajrayogini reminds us that we possess the fierce wisdom that transmutes any pain or suffering into deep lessons that free us and bring us more joy. She's the call to wake up if we've fallen into that old myth that something or someone outside of us is going to save us. She's here to make it loud and clear that what is within us will save us. We can take this moment right here, right now, to turn everything sacred. Her energy is sharp, intense, and uncompromising. There you go. Eris. That's the Eris energy. Uncompromising. Or maybe that's the Black Moon Lilith energy as well, because she was uncompromising. But there seems to be a mixture of a lot of kind of feminine energies at this time, all kind of coming together, which is very interesting as well. She will not let you remain in an illusion or a disempowering story about who you really are. She wants you to sever all the ties to your ego's relationship to a person or to an event in your life and see it again with the third eye, with the wisdom that can perceive the deeper spiritual path beneath the human drama. This red female Buddha is the power we all have in every moment to take a seemingly everyday event or annoyance or unfortunate, almost finished, occurrence and use it for our own enlightenment. She reminds us that everything is rich material for us to use to elevate our reality as an embodied soul. So the soul voice meditation here is, can I see the lesson in the chaos? And the intention is, I have the power to make every moment sacred. Everything is material for my liberation. And I think it just about sums up this energy that we are experiencing and are going to be experiencing a lot more of. So there you have it. Vajra Yogini is the energy that is empowering us at this time. Male or female makes no difference. And I'm going to leave it there and say thank you very much to those of you who have stayed with me and listened right the way through to the end of this video. I really do appreciate you being here. Please like, subscribe, hit that button, get the notifications as and when I put them out, and also leave me a comment as well. Let me know what you feel about my astrology and also my tarot readings as well. Leave me a comment to let me have some communication. Some feedback really helps the channel as well, because it lets the platform YouTube know that I'm actually getting interaction as well, and that is a really big deal as well, which is why a lot of YouTubers out there talk about this all the time. So wishing you all the best for this upcoming Cancerian energy that we've entered and are going to be in right up until the new full moon in Capricorn. So for the next 2 weeks and beyond that as well, it's going to go beyond that. Just kind of remember to stay centered in yourself and remember to breathe through it all, because that is really going to be of importance at this time as well. Being able to have some kind of practice to return to and to steady and balance and to keep things as normal, whatever that may be, as is possible for us in our lives. So going to leave it there. So thank you again, and please take good care of yourselves and anybody else around you who you can, and hopefully I will see you again next time.